Hi everyone, my name is Frederick Key, and I'll be presenting the Chapter 20, Policy Development and Policy Advocacy. So first, let's define what is policy and what is policy advocacy. So, uh, at its core, politics and governing are meant to be competitions of idea. So it can include how should the country be run, how should finances be managed, how should the economy be developed, what should spending priorities be? What should relations with other countries be managed? And what should the state of healthcare be? So, in order for ideas to come into light, must be translated into policy. So, policies are clear plans about how a social, political, or economic vision will be achieved and how ideas will be implemented as actions. So, policies are defined plans that outline how a particular social, political, or economic visions will be achieved. So, they serve as structured guidelines that help transform ideas into concrete actions rather than being vague or abstract. Policies are created to provide directions and clarity on how goals will be reached. For example, if a government envisions reducing poverty or boosting economic growth, it will be develop specific policies such as job creations, program or tax incentives for small businesses to bring those ideas to life. In this way, policies play crucial role in turning visions into reality by outlining clear steps, assessing responsibilities, and setting measurable outcomes. So while policy advocacy is a solution based. Instead of solving a problem for one person at a time or simply raising awareness about a problem, in policy advocacy, we analyze the causes of the problem and develop policy-based solutions to address this in a manner that creates sustainable and enduring change. Formal policy mechanisms such as law or government regulations are key part of advocacy as this type of work often seek to alter the way that official institutions address or spend money on the issue. So just a quick fact, advocacy and the word advocate come from the ancient Roman law. So the term was used to describe those who were called the aid of someone or who took the role of champion on behalf of others, such as lawyer or barristers in the legal term. So the term has also been used to describe protectors or champions. So policy advocacy refers to organized initiative that seeks to change official policy legislations or manner in these regulations are applied. So advocacy efforts typically try to establish new policies, improve existing policies, or challenge the development of policies that create difficulty or injustice for a specific group in society, particularly more vulnerable or disadvantaged group. So to be engaged in the policy advocacy, organizations and individuals need to know not only how to identify problems, but how to isolate causes, analyze evidence, work with research, develop sound variable policy options, and understand how to cause this. So because it's involved altering legislative mechanism, policy advocacy often seek influence policy at the decision-making level such as public official, civil servants, elected officials, and legislators. But to be truly effective, policy advocacy must also involve citizen participations so that the local communities have the opportunity to actively participate in making policy change. So to summarize the policy advocacy, it's aimed to change official policies, legislations, or regulations. It endeavors to implement long-term sustainable solutions to problems, incorporate best practice on using evidence, research, and policy developing policy. And then lastly, it's involved both in lobbying, decision makers, and mobilize citizens object. So, why policy advocacy is important? So policy advocacy is important because it can address issues for the long term. It can also solve problems for larger population at once. It can shift resources to where they are most needed. It invites citizen involvement in problem solving. And lastly, it can create enduring change. Next, the Wigan dimensions piece. So, a society that is undergoing a major social, political, or economic transition is like a four-wheeled wagon. So, in order for stability to be achieved, progress has to be made in four key areas, which is political consensus, the economic development, agreed law and order, and then the social progress. So, the Wagon Dimensions of Peace is the work of Brendan McAllister, which is a senior associate of Mediator, the European Forum for International Mediations and Dialogue, and the senior mediation advisor with United Nations Department of Political Affairs. It has been used this manual with these permissions. So to understand the four dimensions of the wagon, so let's discuss each other. So the political consensus. So political consensus effort must be achieved some form of agreement how the society will be governed and what the standard and qualifications of governments will be. For example, do all parties aspiring to govern have to commit the solely peaceful and democratic means, or do all groups competing in elections have been registered politically parties, or it can anyone stand for office no matter his or her background and possible role in conflict? And lastly, how will decision be made and implemented, and who will be or who will do this? Next, agreed law and order. So, law and order emerge when rules of behavior within the society are agreed. So when these are rules are largely enforced and respected, and when the bodies responsible for enforcing the rules are respected. Next, the economic development. So economic development refers to investment that supports society's economic growth and bring jobs and income to its populations. So this can be include the constructions of roads, bridges, and other infrastructure projects, expanding access to the internet and increasing internet speed, improving sewerage and access to clean water sanitations, upgrading some structures for delivering reliable electricity and other power resources, building schools and other community facilities, and a lot more. And then lastly, the social progress. So social progress has to do with the capacity of a society to meet the basic human needs for its citizens. So it can be include healthcare, housing, educations, play and leisure facilities, the expressions of cultural traditions, healthy community life, opportunities for young people, equality for opportunities, for all citizens, including women and other traditional disadvantaged group, etc. So policy is what put in air the tires of the wagon. So policy is the fuel that gives the wagon momentum to move forward. So without policy, these four key areas remain vague without agreement and without progress like a busted wagon that can move. Next, the capacities for effective policy advocacy. So many political and civil society organizations develop along ladder that looks like one slide, starting from the bottom and progressing from the top, which is the delivering service up to tracking and evaluating result. So at the bottom of the ladder are the service delivery, raising awareness, and the building capacity. These are areas in which many CSOs CSOs focus in their core functions. So they focus on local communities playing a key role in delivering different types of services, building awareness around certain issues, and building capacity in the communities they serve. So this is what they start doing when they are established, and they are quickly get very good at this. So it's not just CSO that do this. Quite a few political organizations dabble in these activities as well. So some political parties began as on as organizations try to perform the same task. So even those parties with strictly political origins often have a wing division focused on service-based activities. However, in order for the society to progress and for the wheels at the wagon stability to get some air. So CSO and political organization have to develop the internal capacity to move up the ladder. So this means critically cultivating the activity develop, communicate, implement, and track policy as legislations or regulations. So these advantage skills and require organizations to develop a number of professional capacities including conducting research and analysis, knowing how to work with evidence, being able to engage and mobilize both decision makers and grassroots audiences, and understand how create change through policy interventions. Next, how policy works. So, where can change happen? So, the purpose of policy advocacy is to create change. Policy generally endeavors to create change in three main areas, which is the behavioral change, institutional change, and lastly, the state of life change. So, behavioral change involves change in the behavior, relationship, activities, or actions of the people, groups, or organizations targeted by policy. Example includes change in attitude towards domestic violence, reduced willingness to pay bribes to public officials, lower tolerance of human rights abuses by security forces, greater value placed on the participation of youth in society, reduction in smoking or other unhealthy behaviors. So for the institutional change, it involves shift in the functions or behavior of official body or organizations. New bodies can be created or existing bodies can be modified or given new powers or resources. Example may include passing a new law mandating pre-universal primary educations to be implemented by the Ministry of Education, creating an independent oversight body to monitor the delivery pricing of public utilities, establishing a competitive and transparent system for manner in which government or of contracts are awarded, which is overseen by the public ombudsman. Next, the state of life change. So this involves changes in the quality of people daily lives and the way they live those lives. So example may include cleaner water and effective sewages and sanitations, good roads and reliable transportation system, reduction of in crime or political stability resulting in a safer street, and lastly, access to quality education and healthcare. So policy proposal can be frequently do seek influence all three of these areas. The important starting point for activists is to understand the difference between the policies and activists. So these two things are easily confused as they can be either interlinked but they are never be the same. Consider the sample on your screen, the policy proposal versus two activities. On to the next slide for the stages of policy development. So all policy advocacy start with the actual development and or adoptions of policy-based solutions to problem or issue. So this means that policy advocates either have to work to create a new policy response to situations or identify the policies that currently available and choose from among these. So there are several ways to approach this, but most efforts will incorporate the elements of the policy develop cycle uh, outlined on the next discussions. No, each of these themes represent the important of element of success policy development. In practice, they don't always occur neat, distinct phases. They frequently overlap, and the length of time spent on each area will depend on the number of factors, including political environment and complexity of the issue being addressed. For example, research and analysis may be part of identifying issue or problem, discovering the possible solutions and defining objective. Implementation may occur well after efforts to map the decision-making process and build a communication and outreach strategy have taken place. Additionally, the order which these steps are taken may be affected by the particular issue or available resources. Some policy effort, for example, may require extensive time spent on research to come up with a clear policy-based solutions. So while for the others, there is already substantial research with this to work and a potential policy response may be more readily identifiable. So the key is to find the balance within the problem and relationship. Effective policy take time to clearly identify the fundamental cause and problem or issue and gather the solid research and evidence on which base viable solutions. So policy development, therefore, is not just about identifying problem. It's much more about coming up with the solid solutions to address this problem and deliver outcome for this citizens and society as a whole. So policy advocates do not just raise the alarm about the problem. They come equipped with the answer as well. Now, next to the best practice for issue verifications or issue verification research techniques. So, when we first start to look the problem that may require advocacy response, we often make assumptions about they are, what they are, and how they experience affected populations. However, to ensure that the policies solutions we propose is accurate, we have to move beyond assumptions and verify the issue further through research. So essentially, we have to prove that if it's the problem and clarify the form which it is exists. So there are many tools and techniques that can be employed to verify and clarify the problem and issue. So to select the right assessment techniques for your policy advocacy, consider the type of information you need to collect, the dynamic around the issue, and how it tends to affect people, the resources you are able to commit to this, and local social cultural arrangement, and whether society, safety or security are factor. So one of the best, these are the example methods for problem verifications, which includes community leader interviews, focus group, surveys, community meeting, time is 80%. Map, daily activity schedule, night, neighborhood canvas, community asset mapping, inventories, community cafes. So, another example or best practices for issue verification is the framework verification issue. No. So another options measuring impact of a particular problem or issue within the context of policy advocacy is to see where the issue falls with assessment framework like the given sample on your screen. Even with a framework like this, you will need to use some form evidence based or research to verify your answer. So you need to write down your score you gave for each questions. So again, it can be answerable from 1 to 5. 1 is being the low, 3 medium, and then up to high. So higher score suggests stronger campaign. So if your total score is less 18, you may need to consider or reconsider the issue you have chosen or how you are defining it. Framework for problem analysis. So when identifying an issue advocacy, it is important to ensure what you identify that causes of a problem and not simply its symptoms. So social and economic problems are often complex and frequently have more than one cause. So as a result, the symptoms of the effect of the problem can be sometimes appear to be causes. So dissecting a problem through analysis help to ensure that root cause are identified and isolated, which also means that proposed solutions are more likely to be both relevant and effective. So one method is for doing this tree analysis. So these structures map out the autonomy of the cause and effect around the particular issue or problem and allow larger problems to be broken down into management and definable pieces. So the problem tree helps untangle varied perspective and isolate root causes. So this is a simple tool that easily accessible. So to clearly understand the tree uh, to easily understand the problem tree analysis, so let's define the effect, problem, and the causes. So in the problem tree analysis model, the problem or issue be addressed in the trunk of the part tree. The effect, result, or symptoms of the problem are branches as leaves. So the part is that most visible. And lastly, the cause of or resources of the problem are the roots, the part that is most difficult to see or most deeply embedded. So to conduct a problem tree analysis, starts from the trunk of the tree, move down and up. So write down the problem or issue to be analyzed. You are currently understand it. Write down what you considered the causes or resources of the focal problem to be, and then you need to write down the consequence, effect, or outcomes. So once you are sure that you have the accurate analysis of the problem, it's time for you to isolate the causes you are going to address in your policy response. So policy is meant to address the causes of the problem. So most problems are so complex. So it's not possible to address all of their causes in a single policy advocacy campaign. So therefore, it is important to identify which specific causes your policy is going to tackle. Next, creating policy goals and vision statement. So now that you have clarified the problem or issue that you want to address and isolated the causes your policy will target, there is no one more step you must take. There is one more step you must take before you can actually begin to construct a policy proposal. So you need to define your visions. So if you know what the problem is and what the causes of the problem are, what will be actually what it will actually looking when like this are addressed. You need to think what is your visions for what life looks like for your society once your policy is successfully implemented. So the problem you have identified is something you are trying to move away from. But before you can make it a move, you need to know where are you moving forward towards this is your visions. So there are few techniques that can be helpful defining these visions. So one simply is drawing a picture of what life will be like once issue is addressed. So visual image can be a useful source of inspirations when trying to construct a response to a problem. However, at some point, you are going to have offer more detail than what can be included in a single image. And two methods outlined below offer a system to help to do this. Defining goals and objectives. So likely any goals plan, putting together a strong policy advocacy campaign, start with thinking through what is what it is you want or need to achieve. So this is the policy advocacy effort goal. It's overall aim. Without this, it's likely to be accomplished. So goal is the policy advocacy campaign generally has one goal, tied the problem or issue seek address. So the goal is the broader vision of the change the campaign is trying to achieve. Its overall aim or purpose for long term. It is written using the general knowledge. Advocacy campaign goal often refers to the benefit that will offer to those affected by the issue. So to figure out your policy advocacy goal, ask yourself how we will know if the policy has been successful, what it will look like. If the newspaper were to write headline on the success of the policy, what would it say? What are those people affected by the issue expecting to see? So here are the example policy advocacy campaign goals focused to different issues. It reduce childhood malnutrition to improve children health, improve access to reliable quality sanitation so that local residents experience higher quality of life and lower level of illness. And lastly, build a capacity and legitimacy of the judiciary so that vital women rights regulations are implemented, protected uh, through court. So once the goal is defined, objective can be set. So objective are the incremental and achievable steps that will be taken in order to reach goal. So in policy advocacy, objective often describe the change in funding, institutions, behavior, or practice that will be necessary in order to achieve campaign's goal. So to define objectives, ask yourself what precondition must met in order for goal to be reached. So policy advocacy campaigns can have more than one objective to reach goal. Um, just to give you example for policy advocacy campaign objectives, which are connected to the goals listed I mentioned earlier. So in the next 18 months, the education, social welfare, our agriculture ministries implement a childhood nutrition program through preschool and primary schools based on the best practice. Increase funding for sanitation provision in 5 poorest districts by 50% within 18 months. And then repealed the city ordinance that prevents the water utility from connecting household in slum areas. So it's service within the next 2 years. So objective should be fit the SMART criteria. So what's SMART? Which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and then the time bound. So vision statement. So another options to help this shape your effort is to construct a vision statement. So a vision statement is a description of what society will be in the future once your policy proposal has been successfully implemented. There are numbers of scenario that can help create vision statement. These are all involved using your creative abilities to imagine what is possible. So one example, it can be imagine that you are in an award ceremony 10 years from today. So it's a large event in which prestigious award is being given to the organizations or individual responsible for the policy initiative which has the greatest positive impact in the last decade. So you are the recipient of the award. The MC comes up the microphone to introduce you. So what does he say about your policy and what it did? So how does he or she describe the impact and its outcome? Next, the best practices for developing policy proposal. So, developing policy proposal in advocacy is often easier to identify a problem that it's identify solutions. So, this is the challenge for activists trying to have impact on the society. So, to come up with a policy proposal that are sound, viable, and that will be positive impact affected communities. Developing effective policy proposal may require three key elements. So developing and using sound evidence base comes from a solid issue identifications, problem analysis, and outcome based research. Next, out understanding and managing the political context, including how and where decisions are made. And then lastly, being able to communicate complex issue in a manner that is clear, compelling, and which inspire action sections. So, at this diagram, on the previous diagram, uh, that slide indicate it can be a small window or wedge into which successful policy proposal actually fit. So policy is not implemented in a vacuum, but in the complex society environment for many dynamic at play. So the best way transforming all the work that has been done in the analyzing and researching the issue, actual policy proposal, it will take four steps, which is the clear defining outcomes you need to want to achieve, defining all possible policy-based routes and reaching achieving these outcomes, check the viability of proposed solutions, including their cost, and then lastly, check clarity proposed solutions. So that's end my presentation. Thank you so much.